the Pigglesworth, and welcome back to AlphaCraft. Figured I'd start out over here, because this bridge is starting to grow on me. Not like actually grow on me, not like fungus or something like that. It's one of those things where you got an idea in your head, you build it, it doesn't quite come out right, you step away from it, and you come back later, and your brain kind of goes, wait, what idea did I have? I don't know, but this looks good. It's a really weird, really strange order of events. It's kind of strange the way it all unfolds, but I am liking it. I think it works. And now that I've seen the road here for a few days, it's starting to my brain's starting to accept it as well. And I think that's part of the peril of working in layers, the build style that we're trying this time around. You get used to seeing a certain something. Like I'm starting to get used to seeing this. As much as it is a mess, as much as it is not nice to look at, I'm starting to get used to seeing it. So I know as I start to change it and alter it, my brain's going to go, but it used to be this way. And so, sometimes you just have to trust your instincts and go with it and watch as everything unfolds. Speaking of, looky here. I've been doing a little bit of work. Now, I left this area as is, but I'll turn back around because I know I'm not showing you much. I've started expanding the road. Yes, I have. Started working a little bit over that way as well. I went ahead and curved this a little bit more, worked this forward a little bit more, and it's starting to make sense in my brain. It's starting to come together. But I haven't done this edging right here like this, like how we've got these curbs, and there's a reason for that, and hopefully I'm going to get to that reason today in this episode. I went ahead and I brought this road up to right there, and I kind of mixed and matched some of the blocks, so that way we have like a transition. It doesn't feel like, at first I had where these were all spruce steps and everything was spruce, so it went spruce straight to granite, and it was kind of an abrupt change, so I figured if I mixed it up a little bit, it would have a nice little transition going on. And then I started working on this, and once I'd started getting this area over here going, I was like, nope, Piggy, stop what you're doing. Like, don't stop in your tracks, keep walking, but stop what you're doing. You need to film this. You need to show people what you're doing so they can see the progress, and also maybe share a little bit of the thought behind what's going on. Like, I've noticed some of the videos where I just take my time and kind of explain my process and what I'm doing. People seem to like those. I'm getting pretty good response in the comment section below. People talking about they really like watching the process and seeing how things unfold. So I figured we'd do that today. I'm going to try and get some decent progress going, but going to try and do it on camera as much as possible, except for the mundanity. Like, I'm going to show you the theory and show you how it works, and I'm going to do the big parts off camera, just so you don't have to sit there for 15 minutes and watch me place blocks, which could get pretty boring. So what I've started doing is I've started extending out this wall. We are slowly going to start building up these stone walls all the way around in this area. Now, as I move a little bit more forward and start getting a little bit more done, it'll make a little bit more sense, and I'll start revealing more and more what exactly is going on here. So let's see. Not off to a good start there, buddy. We need to come over here, and we need to get some stone blocks. Now, as of recording this video, there has been there has been a big contest going on between using a brown shulker box and a pink shulker box for all the stuff going on up here. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll run up here and show you really, really quick. I know I have a pink shulker box laying around here somewhere. I've seen it. It might be... No, it's not here. Oh, there is a random shulker. I've got so many shulker boxes laying around. I better be careful. Don't abuse the shulker boxes, Piggy. Appreciate them. But all the stuff that we got going on here that I'm shuttling from here to the mall in town, our store, the Lumbering Pig, was trying to figure out what color shulker box should I use. And there's been a big contest between pink and brown. So what I'm going to do is I am going to wait until I'm done recording this video, and then I'm going to tally up what all the votes were. And probably at the end of this video, I will reveal what color we're going to use. I have a good idea what I'm going to do. No matter which one wins, I have a good idea what's going to happen. I have a good idea I haven't tallied it. So, but I suspect what's... Okay, so, yeah, I was born around them pig. let's see here. Somewhere around here is one of these chests. That's got enough to start with. We can do that. Let's go ahead and take this as well. So I've got some stone here. Let's get some stone stairs and some stone slabs. And I'll show you what I'm doing. Now you'll see off and on throughout the build, I've got cobble mixed in, and we're using polished andesite stairs. And you might be saying, Piggy, why aren't you using cobble in this? And there's a reason for that. See, cobblestone, whenever you see it in the game, it always makes your brain think about somebody has broken stone that naturally generated and then replaced it in the ground, and that made cobble. Almost never, unless there's lava and water present, almost never will you find cobblestone naturally generated in a Minecraft world. So a lot of this that I'm building, I'm trying to use just stones, but we're trying to make it not spawnable, spawn-proof. So we're using stone half slabs and stone stairs and stone blocks to try and create these shapes to look like a little bit more of a detailed cave than what would naturally spawn, but at the same time, a cave nonetheless. And so when I start using cobble and polished variants and stuff like that, I want it to look more like maybe something was actually carved. So right in here, see how we've got some support beams and stuff going on, and then it changes over to stone. So I wanted this area to look like it was kind of a cave, but somebody came over here and they chiseled it out, and they made it a little bit more to their liking, what they wanted it to do. A little bit of cobblestone there too. Maybe they were chiseling and they broke a hole in the wall or something, so they had to backfill it, something like that. But we can get away with using smooth stone, and then eventually we could use some just raw granite, not the polished stuff, but raw granite and even gravel. But the problem is I'm needing what did I say? The raw granite? No, not raw granite, Peggy. Andesite. Raw andesite, which would have this texture. But the problem is I'm needing so much polished andesite for these curbs. I don't have a bunch of raw andesite laying around. So for right now, I'm just going to get my shapes and whatnot built with stone. So what I've been doing is I'm trying to get a basic outline. I'm pretty certain I want this road to pretty much be flat and level. I know at least to that point we want it flat and level. We might work with a little bit of changing of elevation, maybe over in that area or something like that, but I want this area to pretty much stay level. So what I'm having to do first of all is I want to draw an outer boundary. Now, see how this block is the same level as this one? But notice, I don't know if this will show up on YouTube, see the block, the black outline of that block and how just a little bit sticks up above the path block. So that is why I am going ahead and doing my first layer, the first outline, even though it's ground level with stone, because eventually you'll be able to see that stone peeking out right there. Because before we do curb, I want it to be stone, and then I want it to go to a path block so that, you know, we have a little bit of natural look to it, and it's a little bit more color is showing up. Let's go ahead and break these blocks right here. I think I want this to come back just a little bit more. Now, the tricky part about the way that I'm building this is I started out on AlphaCraft. Whenever I start a new world, whether it be a solo world or playing on a server, before I ever start the series, I always want to work out in my head, what in the world is the main build, the main goal? Like, is it going to be some kind of a castle? Is it going to be some kind of a sci-fi thing? Is it, you know, a society? Is it a certain kind of biome theme? Like, what exactly am I trying to build in that specific series? And then once I get that idea in my head, I start brainstorming what kind of things and structures what I want to see in there, what kind of architecture. I know I'm running all the way over here. What I need to do is I need to grab this bed and bring it with me so that it can be out here while we're working on this road instead of having to run all the way back over here to go to sleep. So yeah, that was the first thing I did was I came up with what's the theme for this area, and then I scouted and I found this location which seemed to work perfect for what I'm wanting to do. And then it gets kind of tricky from that point because I have ideas in my head. I have goals and builds and things that I want to see, but at the same time, very rarely block for block do I already know what those things are going to look like. So what I have to start doing is I have to start building and kind of hoping that what I'm building ends up what I envisioned in my head. So let's see here. I want this to start. Oh, wait a minute. We're on the edge. I kept thinking I'm on like the inside edge. Like, I'll show you what I mean. It's easier to show than tell sometimes. So see how we've got this. Oh, there we go. So that's like the curb side of the road. And this is the not curb side of the road. So that little edge that I was doing right there, I was thinking that that's this edge, but it's not. So I do need to work that a little bit more that way. And I'm also, like, for instance, what I'm going to do with this road, okay, and what I'm going to end up doing right here in this spot, I never envisioned it when I first started thinking about how I wanted to build the stuff in this world and what I wanted to do with it. Uh-oh, we ran out of stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and start coming back, and I want to start putting grass blocks in here. We'll just go ahead and do this. I'm just going to go and place dirt for here. Oh, drop down, Piggy. Let's do this. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to put like about a 3 wide. Uh-oh. That was a weird delay from hitting the ground. I want to put like about a 3 wide because I know that not all of this is going to be here. We're going to make enough here that we can make some path blocks. We can kind of shape the road the way we want because a lot of these that I'm placing, they're just going to get dug right back out. Let's see here. Nope, not that. There we go. Let's go ahead and swap over a little bit of grass. If we do too many dirt blocks, we'll have to wait forever for the grass to start spreading. So let's do like that. So yeah, what I'm going to try and do right here in this spot, I never originally envisioned. But as I start building what I see in my head, the parts that I do have ideas for, it starts to shape the area. And that area starts to, I know it sounds kind of weird, but the area kind of starts to speak to me. I start seeing shapes. I start seeing opportunities for things to be built that I didn't see before. So it's kind of a fun process. Not only do you get to see how the builds unfold over the series, I kind of do too. Because the stuff I build doesn't always reflect how I started out. So we're going to go ahead and get this stuff to start spreading. I think for right in here, I can go ahead and do what I need to do. Just going to turn all this into... No, would you... Piggy, you got to make all the path blocks. Once you made the path blocks and done your work, then you can have some food. See, that's already starting to spread pretty good over here. So I can go ahead and just turn this into path. I'm going to leave that grass right there so it'll start to spread. And we'll come back over here in just a minute. So let's see what we've got going on for... Oh yeah, I've only got 9 more. So I'm going to show this as an example. And then I'm going to have to gather up some more andesite off screen. So I want this edge to feel like a natural edge of the stone wall. And I want it to feel like the roads were built following the edge of the stone wall, but not necessarily right up against it. So let's go ahead and put in some andesite right here. I think I want to do one. Uh-oh, not the upside down. Come here, you. Do one more like this. And then I don't want to turn it right here. I want it to turn right here. So this is what gets tricky. You think this is going to be a straight edge, but it's not. It's actually going to turn. So let's go ahead. Uh-oh. Missed opportunity. We dropped all that stuff. Let's go and get that. Okay, there is cobble. And so what I like to do is I like to mix up some cobble and some smooth stone into the curbs. So it just makes it look like not everything was built yesterday. It looks a little worn. It looks like it's been here for just a little while. Might need to use some scaffolding to hop up and down from there. Let's do just, let's see here. I've got 4 more andesite. I'm trying to make this mostly andesite. I don't want it to look too much like it's beat up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go ahead and extend just a little bit more cobble. Yeah, cow. A little bit more cobble. Little smooth stone. Maybe we had a spot right in here where it just kind of got beat up a little bit. But, uh-oh, there goes my phone. Stop making all that racket, phone. So I've got that going on. And then from here, I start kind of looking at... Phone, stop! I'm trying to film. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see what in the world's going on here. Okay. I see nothing on the prompt page of my phone that justifies all that racket. So from right here, I'm just kind of like... and it really is, it's all about intuition. It's all about what feels right. It's kind of funny because usually I'm the kind of person that bases a lot of what I do on logic, not emotion. And I don't really mean it as like an emotion, but just more like intuition, for lack of a better word. It really is. It's just intuition. For me, and I might be wrong about the definition of this, but to me, intuition is more like a gut feeling. You can't quite explain why, but just some kind of almost like instinctual urge is telling you should be doing it, versus logic, where sometimes logic doesn't even have a gut instinct. Sometimes that gut instinct is telling you, no, it doesn't really feel right. No, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, but the logic, the numbers add up. Yeah. Let's go ahead and do like that. And then from here, what I want to do is just start bringing in some stone blocks. And let's see here, because we got stairs right there, you need to see stone behind it. We can go ahead and bring this up 1 level. Oh, I knew I was going to run out of blocks. So I'm going to have to go get some more blocks. But that's kind of like what I'm doing with this. So just placing stuff down and just trying to get a bit of a shape going, a little bit of curvature, but also some randomness going on so that it just feels a little bit natural. I can't believe it. I just looked at the time. I've rambled on for 17 minutes. Can you believe that? And then, of course, we're just coming back with spruce half slabs and trying to do about 4 wide. 1, 2, 3, 4. So see right here, you'd be 4 wide. But whenever you got these curves, you just kind of have to extend it just a little bit. Uh-oh, I'll get that in a second. 2, 3, 4. And then let's come back over here. And all this is just placing blocks and looking at it. Just back and forth, back and forth. So like right here, 2, 3, 4. See, that looks a little sharp on the edge, so let's do like that. And then here, let's do 4. 2, 3, 4, and then let's get this out of the way. Then we'll come back over here. And see, the transition doesn't look so abrupt. It actually kind of matches. And that's just the trick of trying to get curves out of squares. It is just, it's all tricky. It's all having to experiment with stuff. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and extend the rest of this road over to that spot and kind of build up these walls a little bit now that you've seen what exactly I'm doing with it. And I'm going to bring you back and I'm going to show you my plan for what we're going to do with the edge of this road right here. And finally start to get this base to get a little bit more neatness to it where it doesn't look like just a huge pigsty, okay? So y'all just sit tight. I'm going to go do that real quick and then I'll bring you right back. I figured I would start over here. I figured I'd start over here in the ice cave so that as I walked out, you could get a good look at what has been done and what's going to be done. Just kind of step on out and check that out. Yeah, that's right. I've started to build all this out. Now, it's like all of it. I'm still a little on the fence. Not actually on a fence. I might end up being by the time this build is finished being worked on today. But I'm kind of still on the fence about the shape. The shape is kind of tricky to do because you're doing such a large area, and it's not a specific shape. It's not a specific arch or anything like that. So you want it to look natural, but you also want it to have like a cavernous feel, stone structure. But it also needs to be practical in the sense that it's giving you space to work with. So what I've kind of reserved myself to do is I'm going to slowly build at this as I go. And I'm also going to reserve the right that at any given time, I can come back and just break blocks. Like, see how that's a little more squared off than some of this is? I may go back and kind of shave off a piece there, maybe add a stair, upside down stair, something kind of like how, let's get a little closer to it. It's kind of hard to see from that far away. But you can see how this spot right here is much more square shape. And I've got a stair right there. We've got a stair right here. So, it's going to be a trade-off between, do we use stairs to give a little bit more of a smooth transition to what's going on, or do we use blocks to try and give a more jagged? Now, I want this area right here to be a little bit more flat, and then it's going to curve upwards. But I wanted this area to kind of curve upwards much quicker. I wanted this spot to be more steep because I wanted to meet up with what's going on over there. Now, as I slowly build up this area, it's going to make sense why I'm building the structure the way I am, what in the world this is all about. And hopefully, as I start getting this area kind of carved into at least a semblance of what it's going to be, I hope you guys like it. I hope you'll start to enjoy it even more than maybe you enjoy it right now. Maybe you don't. It's not everybody's cup of tea, I understand. And I'm also looking at these pillars. I like how they add some color and some shape to what's going on. So I'm thinking I might just extend these pillars along the edge as we go. It might be cool to see like a pillar maybe right here going up, and it's got like a big gap behind it. I was thinking about one right here, but I'm not so certain. I feel like that kind of detracts from seeing the road that goes up in there. I don't know, but I figured this episode would be a lot more fun if I made it less about building and more about just explaining thought processes and working through problems and kind of figuring things out. Like a weird tutorial. So we can see on the edge of the lip of the road that I have cut back, wherever there's road, I've cut back one block underneath, and that's going to be important. I'm just kind of trying to buy a little bit of time so that it can get dark so I can go ahead and sleep. I'm the only one on the server right now, so we can make it sleep pretty quick. And somebody had put in the comment section below. Now, I've been kind of stinkerish about answering comments in the past month or so. Real life has just been very busy, so it's been kind of hard to keep up with all that. But somebody had asked, Piggy, how do y'all do it? What command do you use to make it where when there's multiple people on and one person sleeps in a bed, that it makes it like everybody's sleeping? And I don't know, to be honest with you. That is some command block trickery that Mr. Friliath has set up on the server. And I think I don't know if he built it himself or if he found a resource online of a command block setup that will let that happen. But it's not a command you can just type in. You have to use like a command block setup or something like that to make it happen. But I just wanted to see what this looked like with it really dark. I've got all the area down there lit up, so I'm not going to have any mobs spawning inside the base causing any more creeper craters, which is just awesome. But we can also see this area is pretty dark. So I think as we go, we're going to need to do like we did in there. We're going to have to figure out some clever ways to add some lighting. Like, see up in here? That's all sealed up. But there's just enough lighting going on in here that it looks nice. You can kind of see where you're going. It doesn't feel super, super dark. Maybe a little gloomy. Maybe a little cave-like, but that's okay. That is perfectly fine. So let's run over here real quick and sleep to make it daytime. Just in case, because I know underneath this lip there are a few spots that are probably not lit as well as they should be. Because here in a few minutes, they're not going to have to be lit up. So I've come up with a pattern of how I want to build this. And I'm not quite certain where to start. I don't necessarily think there's like a center point or anything where I need to start. But the pattern is 5 blocks wide. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go ahead and build it right here, shall we? So the first thing I want to do is 1, 2. You know what? I need some dummy blocks. I call them dummy blocks, but they can also be filler blocks. Let's see. I don't want to waste stone necessarily. You know what? Let's take... No. We've been building with granite. Let's take some diorite. I have yet to figure out a really good use for diorite. I think I'm going to need my axe. I don't need the shovel more than likely, so we can do that. I think that will work. So let's see here. And I'm trying to reference a picture. So we're going to do that. You'll never see that block. So it's okay for that block to be there like that, because we're going to put this here and that there, and then that. You'll eventually see it like that. You won't be able to, or you know what? Let's just show you what it'll look like. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to do this with some dark oak logs. And I'm so glad that we've got a tree farm running. This really helps when it comes to doing little projects like this. I don't have to worry about gathering materials, because materials have been slowly getting gathered in the background. And I probably should have some scaffolding to do this, because as we work our way around, it's going to get annoying trying to jump up and down. You know what? I think I'm going to do a little bit of this on camera just to show you the basic pattern, and then I'll do the repetitious part off camera and then bring you back. So what I did is I went ahead and laid down a whole bunch of spruce logs and just stripped them and then chopped them, so that way I didn't have to worry about stripping those and accidentally hitting the dark logs that are beneath. So I want to put some stripped logs there. I want to put some fence posts there, and then along the top, not stairs. That would look kind of weird. I'm going to do this. So now what we've got is we have a surface that's non-spawnable. We don't have to worry about mobs spawning up here. And it looks like 1, 2. It looks like it's 1 block high. So it feels like just a normal build. But we've got this little trim edge on top, and then we can kind of see down through there. And then let's jump down here. And that's really all there is to it with this wall. And just have to replicate it. Now what ends up happening is when we get on the diagonal spots, that's where some of the character starts to show up on this build. So see, like right here, we're going to do 1, 2, 3. And then have our spruce log like that. We know that that's going to be a filler block, so I can go ahead and do that. And let's put the stripped logs there. And then we'll go ahead and add these in. See how that's starting to look? And then we'll go ahead and run this surface right here like that. And then let's go ahead and back up here. And we'll do one more. Just so you can kind of get an idea of how we're going to do these angles and whatnot. And you can get a chance to kind of see before the whole thing's built the basic premise or idea of how this is working. So see, when we get to these angles, the fence doesn't give a nice solid line like this. But we've got this little piece running along the top made out of oak half slabs. And so that adds solidity to these little edges where you might start to think like, oh, it looks like there's a big gap. Maybe I could fall through there or something. And if that cap piece wasn't there, you could. But see how that's starting to look? So we started out with this flat surface, which to be honest, if we built a whole wall that way, it would start to look, get it? Would? It would start to look very repetitious and boring. But because we've got this uneven edge to everything, it's going to add a bit of character. Now, in the spirit of building in layers, like I said, we're going to be building in layers. What I'm doing is I'm going to build all of this all the way around. But later on, we're going to start experimenting with different elevations for this area. So what will end up happening is we'll have ground that'll kind of be level and might drop down, or it might be here and it might raise up come back down. And so as we do that, we'll tear into this wall or we'll cover it up. And so it won't be this nice, perfect, straight line eventually. And look, I found a bunch of andesite here, so we can dig that up and use that for stuff as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish this wall, this barrier, retaining wall, I guess you would call it, all the way around. And then I'll bring you back and I'm going to show you what it's going to look like. All right. I figured I would start down here so we could kind of start off like we did with the beginning of the episode, but you could get like a before and after feel for how this feels different now that I've done these little changes. It's just subtle changes. And as you've watched me build them and unfold, I'm going to be honest with you, going back and watching it, it just, it didn't look like much. It was just very simple. But as you start to add things and add more things and add layers to it, the detail and the color starts to emerge. Shapes start to work together. What looks like a giant, simple, just mess of gray starts to actually look like something because you start adding more detail. So let's go down here. And you might have kind of already seen it, but oh, excuse me. I'm going to do a 180, not super fast. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to let you see what just some simple patterns, repetitive over and over again with dark colors up against the gray background does. How much it changes. Just something so simple. Yeah, map, you ruined it. Look at that. Isn't that so cool? Just something that simple completely changes how this area looks. I love it. It looks so cool. And the other thing I got to thinking about, by building this in layers, I don't have to worry so much, and I'll explain to you what I mean by that. So if I wanted to put some structures in through here, and then I wanted to add these railings and everything, I would have to try and figure out, wait a minute, if I built these railings at this pattern, what would be the next block I would need to place if I skipped like 7 blocks because there was a building or something there? With this, I don't have to do that. We've already built this layer. So now when I go to build something in front of it, I'll tear out different pieces to make room for what I'm going to build. But this layer stays here. And I got to thinking about it. For any of y'all who know who Bob Ross is, I feel like I'm kind of building in a Bob Ross type style where we're putting a back layer and then we're adding a layer on top of it. And then we're going to add detail in front of that. And we keep layering detail upon detail until before you know it, we've got what looks like this really awesome, complex, well-planned out build that really was nothing more than just adding bits of detail on top of other detail. Not really planning any of it out in specificity. I mean, I planned out this pattern, but when we started, I didn't say like, here's the perfect center. And here, I just kind of picked a spot and said, this'll work. Let's start building. I also want to show you, like, see how the angles, see how they do that. So it kind of breaks it up, but I just love that. So by having patterns, but then making those patterns fit organic random shapes and stuff, it starts to push the pattern to the background so that your brain sees the pattern. It's pleasing to look at. It's got a symmetry or a shape to itself, a logic to it. But at the same time, it looks natural. It looks real, like it was really built into a real piece of just land. It doesn't look like it was contrived or somebody like forced themselves to make it up. So I'm loving it. I'm feeling so much better. At the beginning of the episode, I wasn't quite sure it was going to work. But once again, like I always tell you, you just got to be brave. If you're trying to be creative, especially if you feel like you're trying to be creative in a way you've never seen or heard somebody. Now, I'm not claiming that's what I'm doing here, not by a long shot. But if you're even pushing and venturing into, undiscovered territory of creativity, you're not always going to see the end result while you're in the middle of trying to make the end result. So you just have to trust your intuition. Just be brave and just go for it. If it doesn't work, it's okay. You tried. Dust yourself off, figure out what didn't work, and try again. That's how all of us learn. Nobody that's an expert today was born an expert, I can guarantee you. Everyone had to learn, everyone had to be taught, and everyone had to practice and try. They just didn't take their first breath and go, I'm going to be Picasso today. It doesn't work like that. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of a, just real life lesson that hopefully you could take with you in your day-to-day and make life better for you. And in turn, your life being better, you could hopefully make life better for others around you. I love this. It just, whatever angle I look at it, it looks different, but oh, that's weird. The shulker boxes are disappearing and coming. Oh, shulker boxes, speaking of. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Here's what we're going to do. The votes, the way it looks like enough people want the lumbering pig. What we're going to tote logs around in is going to be the brown shulker box. We're going to take this brown shulker box and we are going to rename it. Let's see. I think, do I have an anvil? I've got an anvil around here somewhere. Come on, Piggy. This is what I get for doing impromptu stuff. All right, let's run over here. I know I have some iron over here. Let's build ourselves an anvil real quick. That's weird. Why is that there when there's a perfectly good... You come here. There's no reason for you to be there. Somebody messing around. Let's see here. So I've got a bunch of shovels. We've got that. What is it? 1, 2, 3. Trying to remember. Oh, I think we got enough to build an anvil. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Now, I got to be careful about where I place the anvil in here because I don't want to mess up these path blocks. So let's see here. Let's place that down. I still don't know where I put the pink shulker box. I know it's around here somewhere. But let's go ahead and put this here. Brown shulker box is now going to be lumbering pig transport. Lumbering pig transport. There we go. Awesome. Go ahead and pick you up. And I think we'll just put that in there just in case. Let's get away from these path blocks. Ooh, I want to see what this looks like at night. I didn't even think about that. Of course, that area is kind of lit up. Now, can I... Okay, the name doesn't show up, but if I do... Oh, awesome. Yep, all kinds of mixed up stuff in here. That's cool. So the lumbering pig transport box is going to be brown, which I know is kind of predictable. But here's what I'm going to do with the pink shulker box, because so many people recommended we use a pink shulker box. So what I'm going to do with the pink shulker box is I'm going to start doing what I've seen other people do, which is we're going to start putting the shulker boxes in here instead of this. And my shulker box is going to have important stuff like these totems of undying, my elytra. It's going to be Piggy's personal, like my luggage. For all my personal things that are super, super important, like tools and whatnot. That is really cool how that happens. Look at that. This is all lit up, and the cave in the background is kind of dark. I like that. And it's just interesting how it looks different from day to night. That is so cool. I'm loving this. I'm feeling so much more confident and so much more better. And you know why? Because I took a chance on an idea and went with it. So like I said, be brave and take a chance on your ideas too. Don't let others tell you that, oh, don't try that. That's not worth it. If you think you've got a cool idea, go for it. Give it a shot. Long as it's moral. If it's not moral, that's a completely different discussion for a different time. But if you enjoyed this episode, please click that like button. And if you want to see more of these as I release them, you're not already subscribed and you want to be, don't let me get in your way. I'll move out to the side and you can subscribe. And if you want to be notified whenever new videos come out, make sure you click the notification bell. I'm just going to sit here and watch this moonlit night on a little bit of a phase of the moon. Yeah, I'm just going to enjoy this little area. Let my mind chew on this area and start thinking about what I want to do in next episode. And that is when I hope to see you is in the next episode of AlphaCraft.